What's going on, everybody? It is TripleCrown24 back. It has been a busy few weeks, but here I am back today with a new card show recap video. This one will be for Saturday, September 17th, 2022, the Derby City Card Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Always love going to this show. It's one of those where you kind of feel like the foot traffic is a little underwhelming at times. This is all the people that have come to this, but everyone who comes there is generally very friendly, and there's a lot of people in the room who they come to buy, trade, sell cards, and that's good. It's good for a healthy show. So I've always had a positive experience with this show. I really like the promoter. He's a fantastic guy to work with, and just always willing to make the trip down there when I can. So this show was a big success, which I'm coming off of two pretty shabby shows, to put it as nicely as I can, in terms of how I was able to do. So definitely nice to kind of change things around. You hear in the NFL how they talk about all three phases of the game. Well, this one I did well in all three phases for what I needed to do: buying, selling, trading. So that is that. Let me tell you overall about the show. It was a different vibe. There was a lot more cheaper stuff, which has been in contrast to what I've seen lately, where a lot of people are flexing a lot of their high dollar stuff, or they have some cheaper stuff that's pretty overpriced. Just basically your Bengals stuff. I'll just say it. That is local to the area here, trying to take advantage of Bengals mania. Which, hey, more credit to those people who are trying to take advantage of that. We'll see how long the Bengals excitement lasts, but hopefully it's for the sake of all the Bengals fans out there. Their team can make it back to the Super Bowl this year. Not off to a great start, 0-1 when I'm recording this, but hopefully they get it back on track against Dallas this weekend. So, but overall, it was a solid show for variety. I saw a lot of different stuff, and some new vendors as well, which is always healthy for a show. It's great that I come and set up at this show, or it's great that anyone else comes and set up at this show. But if I keep bringing the same cards over and over, the same people are going to be like, okay, well, there's not really anything new for me to check out, and it discourages them from coming to the show. So it's always good to have new faces or dealers who have come back to bring in fresh inventory, and that was definitely the case today. Let me tell you about what I picked up. Like I said, a lot of buying, selling, and trading that went down. So one of the buys that I made, this is a one card buy, just kind of random. About the price of a blaster I paid for this. Orange fluorescent AP from 2020 Mosaic, number to 25. I mean, it was just one of those that seemed pretty cheap, and talking down a little bit off the sticker. So very pleased with that. And that's blaster at SRP, not current blaster prices. That's an important distinction to make. Here's another one. This was a trade. I gave up an autograph that I really wasn't into for much, or I wasn't expecting to get much out of, and I sold one of the other cards that was part of the deal as my first card that I had sold. So it gave me more flexibility, and I was able to get some cash, which is always nice, and then get this Steph Curry 2019 Select Company Silver. It's a cheaper Curry slab. I can, if I got $50 for this, I would be extremely pleased. But people like Curry slabs at affordable prices, so I went ahead and snagged that one up. I thought it'd be a good opportunity. The next one was a little lot that I had. There was some raw cards that I have in a stack off to the side that I'll talk about in a few moments. So I don't have those handy, but I do have these that were in top loaders, and guys, I finally did. I'm going to invest in some quarterbacks. That's right. I'm going after some Josh Freeman. I just saw these in there for $1, and I thought, you know what, Josh Freeman, I got to put some respect on his name. He shouldn't be in the dollar box. He had a couple of okay seasons. So whenever I see like cheap dollar autographs of guys who I recognize the name, I usually pick them up. I'll use them for my little repacks that I do, or I'll just put them up for sale for a couple bucks and call it a day. But one of the cards, the main card for Mike, baseball collector, was this one. I kind of centered the deal that I made around this card because he wanted it, and I'll let him talk more about it when he gets it in the mail. It's typically how I do it when I pick up something for someone, they can usually give a better description about it and what it means to them than I could. So I won't attempt it. But for myself, I did get this. I didn't expect to be buying a Jacoby Brissett rookie auto, but here we are. This is from Black Gold, which is a product that Panini did for a couple of years and kind of went by the wayside. It's kind of a little scuffed on the surface. Most of these at this point in time they're extremely sensitive acetate cards, but he had this stickered at $10, and I just thought, yeah, it's probably a little too cheap. I bet that there's a lot of hype around Jacoby Brissett right now since the Browns won their first game. So I figured I'd go ahead and do it. Maybe he just threw 5 interceptions by the time you guys see this, because I'll be uploading this on Monday, but maybe he'll be 2-0. I guess we'll see. So there's that. This next one was another trade with some cash. Again, I got some cash coming my way, which, again, always great to have that too, because it just allows me to reduce what I'm into for, but I also still get some cards. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. 4 cards involved in this deal, and it's about as random of a foursome as you could get. So these were at $2 each, and I kind of just tossed them in as part of the deal. Jerry Rice Blue Select, numbered to 149, and a Deron Payne out of Obsidian rookie auto. It was out of 10 for $2. Why not? But then the 2 cards that were involved in it, this one also spoken for. It's going to Mike. Adrian Beltre, beautiful 5-star auto Golden Graphs. This is 2019 5-star. So it's in Mike's stack. And then this one was the one that jumped out at me. Jose Ramirez autographed to 10. I didn't need to really look this one up. When I saw the sticker price, I just knew that it seemed incredibly reasonable. I went and looked it up, and it's about, I would say it's probably pretty fair, but I definitely think that I got a really good deal on this. Even if I had just bought it at sticker price, it would have been a good deal. So I was pretty pleased with that. I get asked for Jose Ramirez a lot. So just one of those guys that I like to have some of his cards whenever I can come across them. And last but not least, for my pickups, I'm going to take this out of the team bag here. This one is really sweet. This is a 2021 Panini Elements, which is a set that's known for its metal cards. Patrick Mahomes. This is the lithium parallel. So in Elements, it's based off the periodic table. So whatever the periodic number is of the element is what it's numbered to. It's kind of neat, in my opinion. So lithium here is out of 3 since it's number 3 on the periodic table. But this is 1 of 3. Last time I did this show, I was very interested in trading for this with a guy who was set up not too far away from me. And he was just walking around the show today, showed me this one. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to try for this again. And he came down on his asking price on it to the point where we were able to work out a deal for some stuff that I didn't mind letting go. It wasn't something that there were a couple cards he was looking at that I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really want to give these up, but to give this Mahomes, I would. He ended up working out some stuff for some cards that I wasn't as attached to. So I got to keep some of the cards I liked a bit more, and I got the Mahomes out of 3, which, worked out well. And he was happy with his side of the deal too. So worked out well for both sides. I ended up tossing a little bit of cash his way too, just to even things out, but it's a price I was willing to pay to get the deal done. So those were those pickups. And then I have this entire bin full of cheaper stuff. So at the end of the show, I'll just quickly thumb through some of these here. There's this guy who has these really solid value boxes, and typically they're at sticker prices or prices as marked. You'll see here Dylan Cease, First Bowman, Red Ice. Here's a refractor as well. This is one of my favorite cards of the group. It's a Miggy Blue Wave. I just love this image. You guys know, love my Miggies, even still. Number to 75 there. So normally these would have all been $1 based on the show special. And these were the ones from that other deal, by the way. The Kelsey, Jimmy Kimmel first pitch, Whit Merrifield rookie, Ichiro refractor, Ben Tate auto. But the rest of these were from that from the last deal of the day. And the dealer said to me, if you put together a stack of 100, I will do them for $25, which breaks down to 25 cents a card. And on the surface, is there anything here that's really going to blow anybody away? No, not really. I mean, that Miggy, on a really good day, could I get $20 for it? Sure, I could. What's more realistic? 10 to 15, probably, if I wanted to move it a little quicker. His refractors and numbered refractors have gone up significantly in the past couple of years, but just going through some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff is low numbered like this. Michael Thomas here is out of 25, and some really solid stuff. What I'm going to do with it, I'm actually going to talk about in a video that's coming up about a subject that might surprise some people, but I wanted to do a separate video on it, so I won't really get too much. I know it's a bit ominous to me just leaving it at that, but yeah, these ended up being 25 cents each, and just some of these are just, they're no-brainers, right? Even, you know, again, it's Antonio Brown out of 50, but still it just was worth it. So I'm going to look all these over. If any of these are kind of like scratched up or dinged up or whatever, it's not a huge deal. I will just take it and put it in my quarter box instead. If I don't want to hold on to it, but the rest of them I do have a purpose for. So I am extremely pleased with that. I'm going to keep showing off the rest of these cards while I tell you about the rest of the show. So talking about the show floor, I kind of already went over this. There was a lot of cheaper stuff that was there. In terms of like a lot of value boxes, a lot of base rookies. There wasn't too much in terms of high end, and that was what I was told just kind of going around the show floor and asking people who approached my table, whether it be other dealers or buyers, just kind of how they thought the show was going for them, regardless of what they were there to do. And, you know, it kind of surprised me a bit because usually there's some bigger name or bigger time dealers there who have a lot of pretty nice cards. They weren't there this time around, so that might have contributed to it, but there wasn't. I had a lot of people telling me that I had some of the nicer stuff in the room, which was very surprising for me. That is very seldom the case. There's usually some pretty big fish in the room, so I definitely felt very weird hearing that. I didn't feel like that from what I saw walking around, but then again, I didn't get to walk the entire show floor, so you know, maybe, but that surprised me when I was told that. Outside of that, though, just pretty much what I was talking about earlier, asking about what was hot and what was not. Kind of a different vibe than recent times. The talk about the rookie quarterbacks wasn't as prevalent. Were there people looking for Josh Allen? Yes. Were there people looking for Justin Herbert? Yes. Were there people looking for Joe Burrow? Yes. But it wasn't like that was everything that people were looking for. Sometimes it feels like, oh, that's all that people really want are those three guys, especially in some of the more recent shows. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because I don't really have a lot of those guys. So it definitely limits some of my opportunities whenever I can't stock those guys. And sometimes it's a little scary for me to stock those guys just because, you know, if they get injured or something, then it really hurts things. So there was some interest in that. What seemed to be not so hot, which really surprised me, was basketball. This is, again, it's in Louisville. Louisville basketball program has been pretty solid historically. Recent times, not as much, but a lot of people make the drive over from Lexington, which is where University of Kentucky is. And I mean, Kentucky basketball is about as hardcore as it gets. So you do get a very large predominant basketball crowd at this particular show from what I see. And it just wasn't as many people asking for it. There were some people who expressed interest in it, but I didn't see too many people talking basketball. So that was much different than what I usually expect from this show. Let me give you my takeaways. This is a fairly quick episode. I'm kind of tired today, so I'm trying to move through it a little bit faster. I always do something I like, something I didn't like, and something I like to end the show. Something I like, just running into some, some people I know, just some fellow dealers I've done deals with many times before, and then also running into Huck Sports Cards on YouTube was, great to shoot the bull with him for a little bit and talk about how things have been going and stuff. Great channel that I talked about last time on the when I did my recap for this show. I'll leave a link to his channel again, but go check him out. If you're a vintage fan, you will especially like his channel. But puts out really good content. So make sure you guys check it out. You'll also be able to see my showcases in his recap, probably that he did on his channel. So you can go check that out too if you wanted to see what I was offering at the show. But I know, shameless plug there. Something I did like this. This is by no means no one's fault. I just wanted to point it out there because it was a pain in the ass. There was a ongoing show at the same time in the same venue that was, I guess, like a model train, plane, car. It was like die-cast model kits. And that show looked pretty legit. Like there was like a registration table. There were like these vendors that were, I mean, it was, I kind of like peeked my head in real quick. I'm like, dang, this is pretty legit here. I wonder if they thought the same thing about our card show that was going on in the other room. But that show was going on even before anybody was setting up for the card show. And I got to say, it made parking really tough. I was fortunate enough to get a spot decently close to the door, but it was slim pickings to be able to park my car where it wasn't too far away to wheel everything in. So I definitely got my steps in this morning trying to get everything into the building because I had to park much farther away than I'm used to for a show. But it's no one's fault. Like I said, it's just in the morning I was like, oh boy, this is not how I wanted to start the morning. But anyways, let me recap something that I liked to go ahead to end the show. There was a different layout to the show too, where it was kind of like these, instead of rows, it was kind of like two boxes and then your rows on the side. It's difficult to explain it, but it was there weren't as many tables sold for this show. So there, I mean, we were able to have, it felt like they were larger tables, but it made the room look better, I would say, which I think is, very clever by the promoters to get everything set up like that and be, it makes it look more full. It just presents better than having an empty table somewhere if one hadn't sold out. So, kudos to them. I thought it was just very well presented show, as it always is. So, yeah, that is it. So thank you guys so much for listening to today's recap video. I'll see you later in the week with some more content. Take care, stay safe, be kind.